Hello, guys, and welcome here to Out of Turn 4. I'm Brian here. Coming up on the show this week, we recap NASCAR at Pocono as well as SRX at Stafford. We also have a 2022 silly season update, kind of a short episode this week as we get ready to kick off racing on the 4th of July weekend. And then, of course, we will, wrap up the show with our picks for the upcoming weekend in racing. So you won't want to miss any of this. Let's get right into it, though. Starting with NASCAR at Pocono, John Hunter Nemechek. He is the race winner for the Truck Series at Pocono. Of course, he outduels his team owner, Kyle Busch. And I think Kyle Busch is starting to meet his match. I mean, John Hunter, let's look at John Hunter Nemechek the first time he was really in the Truck Series. He's been running in his dad's equipment, and granted, it has been, I believe, an ECR truck, but it hasn't been obviously top-notch compared to what he's running over at KBM. So I think, he's proving that, again, if John Hunter Nemechek is put in the right seat, he's going to put up results. I think he's proving that week after week, and I think he's going to continue proving that, and I'm hoping he'll be brought up to the Joe Gibbs stable next season. Unfortunately, if he is, I think it's going to be to replace Daniel Hemrick. So I wouldn't put it past that. But I think he's proving time and time again why he is a talented driver and why he's a force to be reckoned with if he gets a good ride. I mean, he did well in the Cup Series last season, too. He didn't do half bad. I think he gets the right ride, and he'll be a contender. So, of course, I think he's going to need a season in Xfinity, but we'll see how that turns out. Of course, Kyle Busch, that was his fifth and final start allowed by NASCAR. And, of course, I believe John Hunter has beaten him 3 out of the 5 times. So, in a way, John Hunter just proved I wouldn't say he proved he's a better driver, but I think he definitely got the best of him. And this is what Kyle Busch has been waiting for. This is what Toyota's been waiting for in the Truck Series, is a driver that can compete with Kyle Busch on a week-to-week basis. And the fact that he can proves a lot about how good, not only that these trucks are, but how good John Hunter is as a driver. So that's all I got to say about that. We move on to the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Pocono. And, of course, Austin Cindric holds off a late charge by Ty Gibbs to win the race. And, of course, this comes as no surprise. This is a track, to me, that caters to Austin Cindric's driving style. And, of course, the biggest highlight of that race, of course, the scary crash with Justin Haley. He goes absolutely he just slams into that inside wall and essentially kills the car. Of course, he got some help from new 18-year-old driver for Junior Motorsports, Sam Mayer. And, of course, you got to cut him a little break. It was his first race out. He's going to get better. I think, look, Dale Jr. wasn't going to give him a ride if he didn't see potential in him. And I think in those limited truck starts, he saw potential in Sam Mayer. So I think at the end of the day, Sam Mayer deserves to be here. He deserves to be in the Xfinity, and I'm sure he'll prove it. But of course, he's going to have an uphill battle to prove it because of how well Josh Berry performed in that car. And if that's the case, he did not get off to a good start, and certainly not amongst his peers. As a result, though, Justin Haley was checked and released from the medical center, was unharmed. However, the executives at Spire Motorsports decided it was not a good idea for Justin Haley to race in the NASCAR Cup race. So as a result, at the end of the Xfinity race, they asked Justin Allgaier if he'd be willing to fill in. So Justin Allgaier drove for Spire in the number 77 at Pocono. And of course, Justin Allgaier, not his first Cup start, not his first rodeo at the Cup level, and he did pretty well. In a unexpected seat time, he did very well. He, I believe, got a top 20 or top 25 out of it. So it was a good day for Justin Allgaier. Of course, a long day for him, a longer day than expected. And of course, again, Sam Mayer, he's a young driver. He's going to get the hang of things real quick, I'm sure. Anyway, on to the Cup Series at Pocono. And of course, I want to disclose I didn't see both races. I saw a little bit of race number 1. I saw the full race 2, and I didn't see any of the truck race. When Kyle Busch races in the truck series, I don't watch. So, and to be honest, it's tough for me to watch it anyway. So, of course, Kyle Larson, he looked like he was going to go on to get his 5th straight win if you count the All-Star race. And unfortunately, the forces above did not agree. Of course, the final lap, just as he's coming into turn 3, Kyle Larson blows a tire and slams the outside wall, ending any chance at winning the race because Alex Bowman was right on his bumper, and Alex Bowman would come out victorious. He would get his third win and another consecutive win for Hendrick Motorsports. Alex Bowman is proving time and time again why he was the right decision for Hendrick. And again, last season I said he was the second best driver in the Hendrick stable. This year, probably the third, because obviously Kyle Larson's the best one in the stable right now. And Chase Elliott, again, defending champ, he's the clear-cut second best driver in the stable, despite how the results have shown this season for him. My thoughts on the weekend, I gotta say, first off, it's so good to finally, and of course, as you guys know, I'm going to Mid Ohio this weekend. So I just want to say, first off, it's great to see the stands full. It's great to see fans in the infield again. I'm just all smiles because of it. I love it. I love seeing this. This is so good for the sport, and, it's so good for the drivers to get to meet their fans once again. So I just want to start off by saying that because, of course, we are approaching July 4th weekend, and, of course, we're slowly getting back to normal now, and it's great to see. It's really great to see, and I'm super excited about that. And it makes me excited to go to Mid Ohio. Of course, I'm going to be leaving. Well, this video's up on Tuesday. I'm recording on Sunday night. But based on when you're watching this, I'm going to be leaving in about 4 days. So, again, I'm excited to see what comes of this at Mid Ohio. But again, the racing was great. To be honest, when I heard PJ1, anytime I hear PJ1, I immediately think, oh boy, this is not going to be good. This is going to be a terrible race. And it proved me wrong. I mean, that battle between Bowman and Larson at the end was a hell of a battle. And then, of course, the second race, Kyle Busch won. And, of course, he won it on fuel strategy. And, despite the fact Kyle Busch won, it was a hell of a race again. It wasn't a wreck fest. It was, it was just a good race in general. I think it was a good race. Anytime you have races come down to that, it's a true test of skill at the end of the day. And Kyle Busch was the best guy to win, I guess, even though, again, not a fan of Kyle Busch, and it's well documented. I've always disliked Kyle Busch, but the best man won at the end of the day. It's unfortunate that it's him, but, life moves on. My other question, of course, was does Bowman, of course, Alex Bowman just signed a 2-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports that'll ink him through 2023, and he deserves more than that. Come on. He is the third. Again, it's tough to gauge who's first, second, third, fourth in that stable because they're all running so phenomenally. But he's proven he deserves to be in that stable for longer. I'm assuming it's just because of Ally. They're not sure if Ally's going to stick around, and who knows, they might not, because I've seen this happen with Nationwide, but I hope they do, because I think Ally's got the best driver in that seat right now. No disrespect to Jimmy Johnson, but he was past prime when Ally signed. He wasn't going to win a race for him. Sorry, Jimmy fans, but Bowman's the best driver for them, and he's in the best situation of his career right now. He's doing very well with it as well. So I think Bowman deserved maybe a 5-year extension, I would argue. But either way, it's good to see he'll be staying in the Hendrick stable. Of course, we move on to SRX at Eldora. I had Stafford down, but it's Eldora. Tony Stewart has won the SRX event at Eldora, his second straight main event win, and of course he extends his points lead as a result of that. I was impressed by the IndyCar drivers, Elio Castroneves, Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti. I was impressed by all three of them. They were running up front. They were really good for guys who probably have never raced on dirt in their entire lives. So I got to give a round of applause to the IndyCar group, because Tony Stewart might have won the day, but boy did those IndyCar drivers put up a fight in that race. And I'm telling you, SRX is getting better and better every week, I think. Slowly, it's getting better and better every week, and I think, and of course, we had high expectations for the broadcast, and they just keep showing us why CBS should have a bigger motorsport attached to their resume. Hopefully it's NASCAR or IndyCar. I'd prefer IndyCar, but, of course, time will tell. But they definitely deserve their shot. They're proving it time and time again, especially Alan Bestwick. He's come in, he's done well. Hinchcliffe did well this weekend. Everything they're doing on their broadcast is just phenomenal so far. I'm loving it. The other big story, of course, from Eldora, Paul Tracy is on a little bit of a tear. He had a good race over at Eldora. Of course, he was one of the worst drivers entering Eldora, and in the eyes of some of his competitors, probably still is the worst, of course. He wrecked Bobby Labonte late. Apologized, Labonte wasn't having it. Boy, tempers flared this weekend. It was just a great show at Eldora. Tony Stewart's gang over there at Eldora has put on a hell of a show. It was fun to watch. I can't wait to see what comes at the let me be sure I got this right. The Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Or as I better correct myself, because Carmian will correct me. But it's Raceway Park. I can't wait to see what they do there over the weekend. But anyway, on to the next story, of course, and that is Brad Keselowski. It has been confirmed by it is all but confirmed by multiple sources. He will be leaving Team Penske at the end of this season, and he will be driving the number 6 next season for Roush Fenway Racing, and he's going to be a co-owner. So let me correct myself. It's going to be Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing starting next season. And of course, this is huge for Brad Keselowski. Of course, in a way, it's kind of a downgrade, though, because, Roush hasn't been as good in previous seasons, but they're starting to get back on top here. And of course, Chris Buescher's having probably his career year right now. So, I think having Keselowski there, he can definitely help them get the program back on track, because he's still at the top of his game, whether the stats show it in the win column or not this year. He's still at the top of his game. So, and of course, he's still kind of in his prime, so I can't wait to see what he does. And, I think he's going to do very well overseeing Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. So we'll see what happens. Of course, as it's noted, Austin Cindric will be going up to the Cup Series next season. He's expected to race for the Wood brothers. But now with Keselowski leaving, this might throw a wrench in that plan. Of course, they still have the option to renew Matt DiBenedetto's 2022 option. Team Penske does. So now the big question is, who's going to go where? Do they sign another driver, which is a possibility that they could go out and sign someone totally different, or they could keep Matt DiBenedetto, keep it in the organization, and then on top of it, promote Austin Cindric. My guess would be Austin Cindric ends up in the number 2, while Matt DiBenedetto stays at the Wood brothers. I think that would be the best move at the end of the day, because we know at the end of the day, eventually Austin Cindric was going to end up at Team Penske. I thought it was going to be to replace possibly Ryan Blaney, but we know eventually he's going to be in a Team Penske car. So why not just push him up now? He's doing well with the 4th Team Penske car. He ran very well at COTA. And of course he's running this weekend at Road America. So why not promote him at this point? That's just my thing. And keep Matt DiBenedetto at the Wood brothers. He wants to be with the Wood brothers, and I think that's his best chance to win. I'm not saying if he went to the 2 he wouldn't win, but I think his driving style and his personality fits the Wood brothers the best, whereas Austin Cindric would just be a loner from Team Penske. So I'm hoping they do right with Matt DiBenedetto. I mean, I know he's had a little bit of a rough season, but I know he can turn it around, and I know he's probably their best shot to win a race. So I hope and pray that Matt DiBenedetto stays in that organization, because to be honest, I don't know what organization would take a chance on him right now. I just don't know at this point in time. I mean, I know Trackhouse is considering expansion, but I believe Kurt Busch is going to be their driver, or is the top option. And of course, I don't want to see him go to 2311 if that is an option, because if he goes to 2311, he's going to be on the chopping block at the end of the year again. So I don't know. I think the Wood brothers, if Austin Cindric goes to the Penske 2 car, I feel like that's his best chance at a win and his best chance to be around for a while, because there's really nobody behind Austin Cindric right now. Anyway, let's move on here. Let's kind of keep this short today, because I've been cutting it real close on time. Of course, this is supposed to be at most a half-hour show. I know we're only 18 minutes in, but let's make our picks for the weekend. By the way, guys, you like my shirt? It just came in. Hold up, I'm going to move over here. Yeah, it just came in. I'm bringing that to Ohio. He's not my pick this weekend, though. He's not racing this weekend, which is a shame. But IndyCar at Mid Ohio. Colton Herta is my pick. He's been on a little bit of a cold streak. He was the most recent winner at Mid Ohio. That's why I'm picking him. He's due for a win. He's due for some good luck even. But I wouldn't rule out Roman Grosjean. I think he's going to be a viable threat there, to say the least. Now, of course, we're on to NASCAR at Road America, the first ever Cup race at Road America. And that's going to be interesting. But let's start with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I believe, now keep in mind, I'm recording on Sunday. The entry lists are not out yet. But I believe I read somewhere Kyle Busch is going to be racing. So Kyle Busch is my pick this weekend. However, if he doesn't race, then I think Austin Cindric is going to be the winner in that race. And then the NASCAR Cup Series, I'm picking Kyle Busch. He's due for another win. You know, I wouldn't be shocked, though, again, I wouldn't be shocked if Allmendinger's in play, because I believe Allmendinger's running the Cup race this weekend as well. I wouldn't be shocked if Cindric is in play because those two have experience at Road America. And, of course, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, they're going to be two of the ones to beat as well. I feel like the Cup race is a little more unpredictable than the Xfinity race. So we'll see what happens. A big weekend in racing for the 4th of July weekend. And we want to thank you for watching and getting it kicked off here with Out of Turn 4. A reminder, we will not have a show next week. We will not have a show next Tuesday at 5 like we normally do. I will be in Ohio still. Actually, I'll be on the road back home, and then I'm working on Tuesday, so I can't record an episode, unfortunately. My apologies for that, but I promise you we'll have something real good coming up here on Tinkle Sports in the near future. So you want to stay tuned, and of course, our podcast, my other show, our podcast, Tinkle Sports Talk. A quick little programming note, we will be recording tomorrow. It will be up on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern here on Tinkle Sports YouTube and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So you will want to be sure to set an alarm. If you want to watch the premiere, set your alarm. Again, we will be on Saturday, not Sunday, because Sunday is, we want to be sure that it's not overlapping with the 4th of July. Anyway, if you aren't going to watch our show on Saturday, I want to wish you all a very happy and safe 4th of July weekend. And we'll be back in 2 weeks here for the next edition of Out of Turn 4. Until then, goodbye, everyone.